Hey guys, welcome to Pellets and Pits. Today is all about my very first cook on my new Traeger Ironwood XL. We did a pork butt, we seasoned it up, we smoked it. Let's see how we do it. All right, I just took about a 7-pound bone-in pork butt. Just took it out of the package and just patted it dry with little paper towels to get that extra moisture off. Hit it with Q that, brand new to the market. It's my new barbecue seasoning. And then I just coated all the sides. And then from there, I hit it with what I call my Texas rub, salt, pepper, garlic, and a little seasoned salt. And then I just touched up the sides with a little bit more Q that. After she's seasoned up, we have the Traeger hovering around 225 for that incredible smoke mode we're going to figure out. We're having it on there for about an hour at 225.
Looky there, the lights are handy.
Yeah. And I'm just going to set it right in the middle. Maybe I'll center just a little bit. All right, once it's placed on there, we have the bone right here. The bone's gonna be facing the hottest part of the smoker. Right here is the fire pot. We're gonna have it on the grill about at 225 for about an hour on that super smoke mode. Then we're gonna crank up the temperature. It's been in that super smoke mode for about an hour and 15 minutes. Just give you a quick look at what it looks like. I'm sure nothing's changed on it. It's only been an hour. So now what we're gonna do is just turn it up to about 275. Ooh. And then we'll start checking the temperature during the stall. It depends on the bark. Since this is our first barbecue cook on the Traeger, I'm shivering, freezing to death. If it looks like it's got a good bark on it, we might wrap it. If not, we're not going to wrap it. So I have no idea what to expect. Typically, I let the bark determine whether or not to be wrapped or not. And then from there, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we didn't use any pellets, barely any pellets at all for an hour, being on super smoke mode. All right, it's been about 3 hours. I have a mix of apple cider vinegar and apple juice concentrate, about a 50-50 blend. Just come in here and squirt it. Leaving the fat cap alone so it can render. I don't want to cool that off. So far, so good. There's really no reason to put a probe on it. To be 3 hours in, it does seem pretty light in color. All right, like most things, you just never know until it happens. So we're internal temperature is about 174. I'm just going to double check with my probe thermometer just to make sure. It's the first time I ever used the other thermometer. All right, so both of them are reading the same thing. The one thing I've noticed on this pork butt, even though it's 275, we have not hit a stall. It has busted right through. So I'm kind of happy with that. Hopefully we can get done before it gets dark outside. I've been squirting about every hour and still looking good. We still got a long ways to go on color compared to other pits, but it does seem like I mean, you can't deny the smoke rolling, so we'll see what happens. Alrighty, it is, what time is it, 4:30?
4:30 exactly.
Let's see, if I was doing this and then was not filming, I would take this down to the low smoke mode, which is about, or the keep warm mode, which is 160. I'd keep my thermometer in there and let it come all the way down to temp, about 160 degrees. But since we're filming, I'm losing light. That's why we also had the Traeger bumped up to 275 for most of the cook, because I know it's going to lose light. I just can't film fast enough with the daylight savings time. All right, got a little butcher paper here. Oh man, slide my big shovel underneath. All right, there she is. Not near as much bark as I was expecting. It's got more of a deep bronze color. You can definitely tell it's done. That bone's gonna pop out easily. We are gonna let it rest. Probably not the whole time, just because, like I said, the video quality while it is resting. Let me hit it one more time with a little squirty squirt. Nice fat render. Probably could have waited 10 or 15 more minutes, but honestly, this is about as good as we are going to get. I'm not going to tear the whole thing apart because it hasn't cooled down enough. I just wanted to show you kind of like what we're working with here. I mean, that is just about as juicy and as tender as you can be, which is expected. It is lacking a little bit of the bark. You can see how easy the skin pulls apart. But I don't know if we can just keep talking about it.
We gotta try it.
I'm telling you, the mixture of the mixture of the vinegar and the apple juice concentrate, along with my barbecue seasoning, it's brand new to the market. Brand new.
Is that my bite? Is it gonna
This
burn?
actually is the first video we've ever done with it, officially. With that salt, pepper. Best pulled pork I've ever made, minus the bark. And the bark's not far off.
The flavor is for sure there.
The flavor's there.
That is good.
The flavor's there. I wasn't going to tear much of it off.
But who are we kidding?
And there we go. The first cook on the new Traeger Ironwood.
It's a good smoke ring too, honey. That's good. Okay, so overall, thoughts on the Traeger?
Let me be careful with my words because I don't want this to be misunderstood because I get in trouble for not speaking clearly by missing a letter or a word or a sentence. If it was the only pellet smoker I've ever had, I think it would be the best pellet smoker that you could possibly imagine. It's got everything you want. It's got build quality. The intertouch facing system of the Ironwood is incredible. The touch buttons, I really like it. It's got follow along recipes. It's got 2 pro ports. There's nothing on it that I really don't like. The pellet hopper seemed to work fine. Golly, we've been cooking on it for 8 hours now, and I probably used 30% of the pellets, which I think is fantastic, which means it's not wasting energy. The pork is absolutely amazing. The reason why we actually made this pork today is because, if you guys follow me along here, then you know we have another channel called The Flat Top King, where we're actually going to be debuting our American-made, 100% American-made, 100% steel burgers press, our barbecue seasoning, and we're going to make a barbecue smash burger. We're going to use that press, make a double patty of smash, add the barbecue seasoning, add some smoked sausage, and make one big A burger. Just want to jump in really quick because, like I mentioned before, I want to be careful with my words. I don't try to sugarcoat anything, and sometimes I think I might be a little bit too rude maybe when it comes to reviews or my thoughts, so I try to articulate them in a way that may be more understanding. So after a couple of days have gone and I've just edited the video, I just want to clarify some things, maybe shed some light. After the newness has worn off on the grill, let's go over some of the things that I did notice. I mentioned that it had 2 probe ports. It does, but the probe actually just runs from here to inside. So your gasket sits on top of it. When I reached out to Traeger just to double check, they said yes, that there's actually no probe port inside the unit. It's a completely sealed unit. I thought that was, I mean, I guess it's okay. They said it's not going to do damage to the probe port. And I thought, well, I'm not worried about damage to the probe port. I'm worried about more damage to the seal, because the probe port is a lot easier to replace than it is the seal. But that's what they mentioned. So I guess it's kind of a bummer. I guess it just is what it is. It's not going to make it or break it. But when you're dealing with a piece of equipment like this, it's just the small things that you notice. Second of all, we have actually had more cooks behind the scenes by now than what you've seen. I went the extra mile to season the grill up the way I like to do my grills. And I found like this one is stuck pretty bad. I've cleaned it very well. After the cook, I've cleaned it up very well. But the fat didn't really come off of it the way I thought it should. Maybe that's just the fact I haven't cooked on it long enough. I'm still going to stay true to my word. I'm still going to keep a good oil down. Maybe we can go to another seasoning mode, but I scraped some of it up, and I'll actually end up scraping some of the seasoning up as well. But that's a part of it. I thought by oiling this, it would keep it from all that junk buildup on it, but it didn't. So kind of disappointed that, but that might not be the grill's fault. I wanted to recap really quick on the bark, because after watching the video, I do want to reiterate, I was disappointed in the bark. The fact that my barbecue seasoning has a type of sugar in there already, that should help with the bark. The fact that we use apple juice concentrate and apple cider vinegar 50-50 mix, you think that sweetness from the concentrate would help as well because of sugar content. One drawback, I only cooked it 8 hours. Some people might cook their pork butt maybe 12 hours. We went up to 275 because of time. Sometimes I do it 250. I don't necessarily think that should have mattered that much. But in retrospect, the flavor was on point. It was really good. It did have a good smoke ring. It was just the bark that I was disappointed in. So I just want to make sure that was clarified. Other than that, I mean, the units worked very well. I think there's still a long ways to go with playing around. But for the first cook overall, after the newness has wore down, there are some things that you notice. And then basically you just learn from there, like any pit. Oh, one thing I wanted to say really quick. Hang on one second. Hang on. I mentioned it has 2 probe ports. Well, both probes that it comes with are sharp-ended, which means it's supposed to pierce meat, versus one that's, this is a piercer as well, versus one that's like this. That checks your temperature inside the grill, and it sits in that little prong system. Well, I have tons of probes just left over from other grills. I've got wireless probes. The one thing I noticed is odd. This is the first, all of them have been interchangeable. I've been able to use them on all the pieces of equipment, for my Pit Boss, my other Pit Boss, even my Lone Star, and my Therm Pro wireless thermometer. All the probes that have come with all these, or I've received or bought, have been interchangeable. The Traeger is the one unique one that's got a thicker body, and these do not fit any other thing. So I can't use an aftermarket probe to go in here. So I think you have to go specifically to Traeger to get these. It's not a big deal, but it did not come with a grill probe. What I would like to do is with my thermometer is really check the temperature inside the chamber as well. I like to do that just to double check. If this says 275, where's 275 on this grill? So we're gonna be doing that in the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends. Peace.
We got to leave some for the burger tomorrow.
We
We got
just
to.
gotta cook another one.
We need to.